I'm Steve Hogevold from Morse Consultants. We're project managers and building surveyors based in Wokingham. Do a lot of our work up in London and around the southeast, but we've been working with Grange for 20 years on and off on many different projects, predominantly roofing and external refurbishment projects, mainly on quite prestigious residential blocks up in London. We first started working with Grange about 20 years ago when I first graduated from university actually, and had a baptism of fire on some quite prestigious projects in Battersea, Kensington and in the West End of London. Some of them are very prestigious blocks such as Kensington Court Mansions, Eaton Place, which were quite challenging to deal with, and working with someone like Grange was a breath of fresh air, having come out of NatWest Bank and worked with various large contractors, and working with a team, with Graham and his team, was quite refreshing. In terms of what they do and the work they do, a lot of it is, when we first started working with Grange, was the very traditional sort of roofing, lead work, slate work and asphalt work. Predominantly because that was the type of buildings we were working with, and I think not only did I learn an awful lot from Graham and his team in terms of how to treat some of these buildings, I think a lot of the craftsmen that he employed were really second to none in terms of the quality of the product they were producing. Lead work and asphalt particularly was extremely impressive. In terms of working with Grange, we've always found them very, very easy to work with, really. I can't really describe it any other way. Always communicate very well with us as project managers and surveyors, but also with the client and with the tenants. Working with Graham on some of these projects presented some of their own challenges, not only with the technical aspects of the work and the historic nature of some of the buildings, but also dealing with a number of tenants. Some of these properties had 100 plus tenants, and we had to make sure everyone was informed. And Graham and Lee and the team were absolutely excellent at making sure everyone was informed at every stage of what was happening with the work, which makes our job a lot easier, and it makes the client, the managing agent's job a lot easier in actually dealing with this type of work. Always found Graham very, very straightforward to deal with, very honest. He's quite often our sort of first port of call if we've got any technical issues with roofs and external refurbishment projects. Technically, they're very, very capable, and when they get on site, they proceed very diligently and make sure everything is done in a sensible order. And working on external projects, the weather can play a big factor in getting access to certain parts of buildings, but there's always a good team on site, always working away, and generally the projects are completed on time. Obviously with weather that can't always be the case, but we've never worked with Grange and had a problem where we've had jobs running on for a period of time. They've been delivered when they say they were going to be delivered. Obviously, having known Graham and Lee for 20 odd years now, we've built up a very good working relationship with them, and the people they have on board, and I've touched on it earlier with lead work, asphalt work, the more traditional type of roofing, which is a little bit of a dying trade, a dying expertise, but the guys they use are excellent. There's no two ways about it, really. Lead work is some of the best lead work I've ever seen, and in fact, when I presented a study to the RICS about one of the buildings we were looking at, even they were impressed with the quality of the work. So it just shows you the standard that they're capable of achieving. Obviously, Graham's been in the business for a long time, and as we all have now, and he is very passionate about what he does. He's very good to turn to if you have any problems, because he knows about the types of building we're dealing with and the sensitivities of those buildings. But more recently, we've been talking to Graham on using more modern materials on industrial buildings, and in fact that's where we're now dealing with Graham on a number of other projects. Materials like single ply, liquid applied roofing systems, which quite often can be the only way to go on some of these types of buildings. I'd have no hesitation in recommending Grange to anyone to talk to about an upcoming project. I find them straightforward, honest, efficient, good communicators, and I can't really say enough about them, to be honest, and I'm happy when they do win a tender. I'm always happy to be working with them on another project.